Hadouken! Hadouken! Get going with our new year, and this is going to be a podcast about intermittent fasting. Yes, just gonna really simple terms, gonna break it down super simple so you guys can understand it. For those of you who are very curious about intermittent fasting, and there's a lot of critics about the diet or whatever, it's just a way of eating. It's a way of eating. I'm not really a big fan of super crazy diets like gluten-free or vegetarian or vegan. If you're vegan and you're vegetarian, that's awesome. If you're gluten-free, that's awesome. What I have a problem with is people driving it down other people's throats. Like, you should, you're poisoning our bodies eating this, and that. It's like, no, everyone's different. Everyone's different. Everyone can eat whatever the fuck they want. All right. And everyone, if you're curious about a certain way to eat, then you definitely are entitled to get all the information you need to make a proper decision about whether it's going to be good for you or not. And you also got to listen to your bodies. But today we're going to be talking about intermittent fasting in a simple term. All right. We're going to say, what is it? How does it work? How does it actually work with your body? And why you would want to do it? Maybe why, perhaps. But yeah, so let's just jump into it. So what is intermittent fasting? What is it? You hear this term around, everyone's talking about it. I don't specifically know the general, the guru of who founded intermittent fasting. Only because it's been like so much forwarded, like other strength coaches and nutritionists and registered dietitians and people always talk about it, especially in our industry. It's like it's a well talked about topic. And it goes against the grain of what other people have been saying for the past few years, like eating 6 small meals a day. Make sure to eat a lot of breakfast and this and that. And I've done intermittent fasting. I'm actually on it right now. I'm actually gonna get more stricter with it. Yeah, I've had clients on it, and they've seen some really great results with it. And what it is exactly is making a conscious choice to skip meals. That's basically it. It's you're skipping breakfast. You're skipping breakfast, and you're only eating in a small window of opportunity. And that's what it is. Simply, you're skipping breakfast, and you'll probably eat your first meal at 12. So you're fasting up until 12 p.m. And then you'll eat between 12 and 8 p.m. And then that's your last meal at 8 p.m. And then after that, you're going to fast again. You're going to fast up until the next day at 12 p.m. So you're fasting for 16 hours and you're eating for 8. Now, do you eat do you go into an all-you-can-eat buffet within those 8 hours? No. Because that's not how intermittent fasting works. But I mean, that's one way of doing it. There's one way of doing it: 16 hours fast, 8-hour eat. And it's the reason why it's really popular right now, the reason why it's well received, or from what I'm seeing, people receive it pretty well, is that it can be adjusted to how you live your life. Not everyone's on a 9-to-5 schedule. So, I mean, you could start eating at 7 a.m. and then you could stop eating at 3. You could start eating at 6 p.m. and start your fasting at 2 p.m. Stop eating at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. So, like 6 p.m. Like further, like what? Who would do that? Like people who have graveyard shifts, or people who work swing shifts or whatever. You start at 6 p.m. and you stop eating at 2 a.m. Or if another schedule is like if you start eating at 2 p.m. stop eating at 10 p.m. That type of stuff. So there's another way of doing it. You can do like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but then on the 4th day you can skip breakfast and lunch. There's another way of doing it, but the more simple way I can explain it is the 16 hours off 8 hours on. It's like interval training, but for eating. But yeah, so that's how it works in a general sense. And you're like, that's what it is, actually, in a general sense. That's what it is. And how does it work? I'm totally getting ahead of myself. But how it works, okay, guys, how it works is we're going back into how your body reacts to when you eat food. So when you eat food, when you ingest sugars and all that fun stuff, when you're breaking your fast, when you eat breakfast, that's why they call it breakfast. You break your fast. The beginning of the day. I don't know if I just blew your minds right now. if any of you didn't know that, that's where breakfast comes from. It blew my mind when I first learned about it, like fucking 15 years ago. So with that being said, yeah, I'm telling you, so how it works is that you're just going to skip a meal. And you're like, but Austin, I was told that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. On Sundays when it's brunch time, yeah. I mean, dude, I'll take some bacon and eggs and a French toast and waffles and coffee and beignets. Oh, anyways. But yeah, no. So what happens is we're priming your body to burn the stores that it already has within its muscles, the carb stores, the sugar stores. What do you call them? The glycogen stores and carbs that are ready. I don't know if you guys hear that. There's like an alarm that just went off, but it doesn't affect me. So you have these glycogen stores, and you got these carbohydrates and these starches stored into your muscle cells, into your liver, and all that stuff. And you want your body to use these stores. You definitely do, because if your body doesn't use these stores and you eat again, when you're eating and you have all these nutrients, you're eating, like, let's say you ate a meal of like cereal, and that's like grains and sugar and shit, right? So your body's going to break it down. It's going to break it down to simple sugars and break it down to sugar to digest in the body, and the sugar is energy, so it needs to store the energy somewhere. If your muscle glycogen, if the starches in your muscle cells and the glycogen in your liver is depleted, it's going to refill those stores. But if they're full, if they haven't been used, because maybe you're not active or you've been probably at a caloric surplus, as many of us are during mundane times of the day, sometimes you just eat when you're bored. If you're at a caloric surplus, if your glycogen stores are full at capacity, guess what? Your body's going to store the extra energy that you just ate to fat. That's just how it works. So what intermittent fasting does is, when you're fasting for 16 hours, let's say you're sleeping for 8, if you get 8 hours of sleep, God bless you if you do, it's awesome. Then your body's depleting the glycogen stores already just by sustaining your bodily functions during while you're sleeping, and while you're awake, it's further depleting those glycogen stores. Now it can deplete them faster. Let's say if you do if you do go for a jog, or if you go for a long walk, if you walk to work, if you bike to work, that even helps. Or if you do a morning workout, that's great. And then, by the time you get to your first official meal in the intermittent fasting pattern after the 16-hour fast, what happens is your body's insulin levels is it's lower, and it's more sensitive and it's more ready to ingest the food more efficiently, because the starches in your muscle and the glycogen in your liver are depleted. They need to be refilled. So that food now that you're intaking will go to where it's needed. It will be minimally stored as fat, and the rest of it will be stored efficiently where it's needed. So, replenishing the muscle cells, replenishing the liver, glycogen stores, all that fun stuff. As long as you're also staying within your caloric means, knowing what your macros are, knowing all that stuff. And eating a well-balanced diet as well, staying away from simple sugars, eating good fats, high fiber, hella vegetables. You still got to eat clean in those 8 hours. You still got to eat clean, ladies and gents. Don't take this as if you can eat whatever the fuck you want in that 8 hour window. Don't fuck it up for yourself. Okay? You're just you're saying you're doing intermittent fasting, but then you're eating like 3 burritos and they're like carnitas and all that fun stuff, and you're eating chips with them and extra guac because avocados are great fats, but but that's not how it works, man. So you still have to be eating right in that 8-hour window, but the way you just primed your body in this intermittent fasting pattern, it helps you cut weight more efficiently because you're having your body digest your nutrients more effectively. And also, it's been seen that because I'm reading these articles here, that as you're fasting, growth hormone actually increases, and insulin level sensitivity also increases. But that means it just helps with fat loss. It helps with muscle building. It helps with the gains, and yeah. That's kind of the gist of intermittent fasting. That's really the gist of it. I mean, without getting too complex, it could be there's different ways to do intermittent fasting as like different patterns. The simple one is like 16 hours off, 8 hours on. You can start and you can definitely customize the times that you start and stop the fast. And how it works is it's just getting your body what it naturally it gets your body doing what it was actually designed to do. Because when our ancestors, when they were colonize, or not colonizing, but they were like man, I'm like getting all weird, nomadic, like when they were going from place to place in search for food. That was the goal, to always look for food, because we needed to survive as a species. But unlike today, where we have food ready available anywhere, we can DoorDash stuff now. You can order stuff on the internet and it'll come to your doorstep. Before, we would have to walk for long periods of time and hunt our food, and we would have to make sure that our bodies efficiently use our energy. So that's how our bodies were built to fast. They were built to live on for a while, to live off fat stores and all that stuff, so we can make it throughout the day. So we can, and then once we get that kill, once we gather all find food and berries and all that stuff, and once we ingest it, our bodies are designed to hold on to it, to make sure that we survive. And that it's just your body doing what it was designed to do, is to live on, to help us survive. But now in today's conditions, we're just so in developed countries, there's a lot of food ready available for the population. So that's why, especially sugars, we're designed to love sugars. So we're eating all the sweets and the candies and the carbs and the grains, and it's just not really helping. So going into intermittent fasting, it kind of helps you hone down into how your body is supposed to actually, utilize its food and nutrients and energy. So that's that with that. And why you should do it? Well, it really depends, because there's some people, there's definitely some, people like, well, this isn't right for women who have such and such, or this is not right for this individual who have such and such. And as with any diet or any style of food or any style of eating, as with any of all that, just a disclaimer, I'm not a registered dietitian, guys. I'm not a nutritionist. So if you really want the hard-on like facts of how to eat for yourself, go to your registered dietitian. Talk to a doctor. Talk to those guys. I've been in the industry for over a decade. I've seen the trends. I've seen it. The information I learned from other people and from reading all this, like the articles that people publish in the journals and all that can only go so far. I mean, I have to be aware of that as a professional, but for you as an individual, it is to your benefit to seek out the registered dietitian, or medical professional, to see what their thoughts on, because they can more specifically find out what will work for you and all that, and do all the blood work and all that stuff. But if you want to start a different way of eating, it all comes down to how your body reacts to it. It all comes down to how your body reacts to it. If you're doing intermittent fasting and you do it for like, maybe let's say you give it a month, and you're just miserable. You're just miserable for a month. You're just miserable and you hate it. You see some results, but you're just miserable. Then don't do it. Don't find something else that works. And that goes with everything else. You shouldn't suffer. You should not suffer through the way you're eating. Okay? And I understand that people eat because of comfort and all that fun stuff, but you should not be suffering. That is not the point. The point is to change your lifestyle to be more positive, to have a better impact in whatever you're doing, start in the right way and keeping it consistent and enjoy it and be happy. If you have a diet that you're just always grumpy and you're pissing and you're fucking like snapping on everyone, I mean, I get it. Like people who are, doing competitions like physique show, bodybuilding, fighting, cutting weight for wrestling or MMA, whatever. That's a whole different echelon. You choose to do that. That's a whole thing in a nutshell. But I'm pretty sure 95% of people listening to this podcast just want to have a better life. You guys just want to see better change, and that's the thing. Like, you have to make sure that whatever you're trying to do for change, it's gonna suck, but you also have to enjoy the process. It's gonna suck for a while, but there's that good type of suck, like it sucks, but it's gonna be worth it, and you're actually enjoying it. But it's like one of those like immediate, like, oh, it sucks now, but right after I'm done with my workout, I actually feel really, really good. That's really good. But if you're doing like some type of eating diet and you're just it sucks 24/7, then no, you should change it. You should change it to something else. But yeah, that is my 2 cents for intermittent fasting. There's not really much else I can really add to it to put it in real simple terms. For the next podcast, I'm going to be talking about what am I going to be talking about? What should I talk about? I think next podcast, I'm going to be talking about, what does everyone not talk about usually? Let's think. Well, you let me know. This is what I challenge you guys to do. Because the reason why I can't come up with something because there's too many things to talk about. I mean, I could talk about, gluten-free stuff. And I could talk about the acai bowl craze right now. I can talk about like how to get a stronger bench, how to get stronger squat. I can talk about like how to program. I can talk about all these random things. But you know what? For those of you listening, go to our Facebook group at cfgshortcut.com. cfgshortcut.com. Come to the Facebook group and comment below. Tag my name. Seriously, because I have so many things going on Facebook right now. Business-wise, not even like social-wise. Like I'm part of like a mastermind group. I'm part of the Coaching for Greeks group. And I run our personal group for the gym for our members, and I got to make sure they're taken care of. So tag my name, and let me know a topic that you want me to go over as relating to health and fitness or powerlifting, Olympic lifting, all that fun stuff, sports performance, whatever you want to do, even weird stuff. I just did a recent podcast of like the best exercises to improve your performance in bed. That was pretty cool. So yeah, go into the Facebook group, cfgshortcut.com, and tag my name, Austin Ryan Toloza, and let me know what you want to learn about. Okay, and then I will be coming out with a training program, not necessarily a course, but I will be coming out with a really basic training program by February. It's going to be a 12-week training program by the end of February. And if you guys are interested in doing that, you just let me know. And that's all I'm going to say. It's just, there's no super crazy details right now. I'm just saying I'm coming out with a 12-week program. It's for beginners to build fundamental strength. And you can lose fat with the program. It's fat loss and strength gain. And it comes with a macro calculator, comes with a max calculator, all that stuff. Really simple stuff. But you let me know what topic you guys want me to talk about next. This is Coach Austin coming to you from Hyperstrength Conditioning. And I will talk to you guys later. See you later. Love you. Bye.